Welcome dear student and Jai Swaminarayan. Today I will start your new chapter of chemistry, chapter number 5, periodic classification of elements. Dear student, we know that the matters are made up of the atoms. Atoms of the same element are in the same property. Atoms have a different element have a different physical property and the chemical properties, right? So the scientists were try to classify these elements in the different according to their physical property, according to their chemical property. That is called the periodic classification of the elements. So in this chapter we will discuss the periodic classification of the elements according to their chemical properties, according to their physical properties, right? According to their atomic mass, atomic number, that all the things we will discuss in this chapter. So dear student, let us start. What do you mean by the periodic classification of the elements? The arranging of the elements into different groups on the basis of their similarity in their properties is called the classification of the elements. The arrangement of the different elements into the different groups according to their similarities in their properties, as physical properties as well as the chemical properties, is called the classification of the elements, or we can say that the periodic classification of the elements, right? So what do you mean by the periodic classification of the element? The arrangement of the different elements into the different group on the basis of their physical properties and the chemical properties is called the classification of the elements, or we can say that the periodic classification of the elements. Earlier there are few elements are there in the nature discover, right? So the classification of the elements are easier to study the physical property, to study the chemical property, right? The classification of the similar element into the group makes the study of the elements easier. So classification is help us to understand the properties of the element, which is very easier to understand the properties of the elements which are in the same group, right? So nowadays there are 114 different elements are known to us. So it is difficult to classify, difficult to understand the physical properties and the chemical properties of the 114 elements, right? So we are arranging these 114 elements into the different group according to their similarities in their properties, right? So earlier attempts at the classification of the elements. Earlier there are few elements are there, about a 13 elements are there. So the earliest attempt to classify the elements was grouping the known elements, about a 13 elements, into the two groups called the metals and the non-metals. So earlier the classification of elements are made into the two groups, metals and the non-metals. Why? Because only few elements, about a 30 elements are discovered at that time, right? So these elements are classified into the two groups, metals and the non-metals. So what do you mean by the metals and non-metals? You know, right? In the previous chapter we were discussed about what do you mean by the metals, what do you mean by the non-metals, what are the physical properties of the metals, what are the physical properties of the non-metals, that all the things we were discussed in the previous chapter. So earlier attempts to classify the elements grouping on the basis of the elements are metal or elements are non-metal, because there are only few elements are discovered were discovered at that time. So these elements are classified into the two groups, metals and the non-metals, right? But the defect in this classification, metals and non-metals, is that it had a no place for the metalloids, right? What do you mean by the metalloids? the elements which have a property of both metal and non-metals, which were discovered later. So metalloids are discovered later, so there is no place for the metalloids in this classification. So the defect in this classification was that it had a no place for the metalloids. Metalloids are the elements which have a property of both metals and the non-metals, which were discovered later, right? So later on the metalloids were discovered, right? And in this classification, metals and non-metals, there is no place of the metalloids. Metalloids are the elements which has a property both, which have a property of both the metals and the non-metals. So dear student, after that different scientists will try to arrange the different elements according to their property. So let us start with the first, Dobrener's triad. In the year 1870, John Wolfgang Dobrener, a German chemist, tried to arrange the elements with the similar properties into groups. The Dobrener classified the elements in the increasing order of their atomic mass into the group of three elements, that is called the triads, right? So the Dobrener's triad. So in the year 1870, John Wolfgang Dobrener, a German chemist, tried to arrange the elements with the similar property into the group, right? Dobrener classified the elements in the increasing order of their atomic mass into the group of the three elements, and this group of three elements is called the triad. So in each triad, the atomic mass of the middle element was approximately equal to the average atomic mass of the other two elements. So Dobrener classify the element in the increasing order of their atomic mass into the group of three elements, right? And in this group of three elements, the atomic mass of the middle element was approximately equal to the average atomic mass of the other two elements. For example, let us take a one triad in the Dobrener's triad. Let us take a one triad consisting of the three elements. First one is the lithium. First one is the lithium, has an atomic mass 6.9. Second one is the sodium, has an atomic mass 23. And third element is a potassium, has an atomic mass 39, right? With the respective atomic mass. So in this Dobrener's triad, right, the average atomic mass of the middle element, that is the sodium, is roughly equal average of the atomic mass of the other two elements, lithium and potassium. So here three elements, lithium, sodium and potassium, are arranged in a group in the increasing order of their atomic mass, such that the average, the atomic mass of the middle one, that is the sodium, is equal to the average atomic mass of the lithium and the potassium. So Dobrener classified the elements in the increasing order of their atomic mass into the group of three elements, that is called the triad. And in this triad, the atomic mass of the middle element was approximately equal to the average atomic mass of the other two elements. Let us consider the triads or Dobrener's triads. First Dobrener's triad is a lithium, sodium and potassium. So here the Dobrener classify these three elements into the one group having the same properties, lithium, sodium and potassium, in the increasing order of their atomic mass. So the atomic mass of the lithium is a 6.9, atomic mass of the sodium is a 23 and atomic mass of the potassium is a 39. And Dobrener classify this element into the one group in the increasing order of their atomic mass, such that the atomic mass of the middle one, that is the sodium, is approximately equal to the average of the atomic mass of the other two elements. So let us consider the average atomic mass of the first and third element. 6.9 and 39 is a 22.95. So the atomic mass of the middle one is a 23, which is approximately equal to the average of the atomic mass of the other two elements. So understand, dear student, what is the Dobrynin's trial law of triads, right? In the law of triads, group of the three elements are there, right? Placed in the increasing order of their atomic mass. The atomic mass of the middle element is approximately equal to the average of the atomic mass of the other two elements. Let us consider the second triad, right? In the second triad, calcium, strontium, Sr and barium is there. Ca, Sr and Br. And arrange these three elements in a one group, right, in the increasing order of their atomic mass. The atomic mass of the calcium is a 40.1. The atomic mass of the strontium Sr is a 87.6, and atomic mass of the barium Ba is a 137.3. So here the atomic mass of the strontium Sr is approximately equal to the average of atomic mass of the calcium Ca and barium Ba. So if you calculate the average of the atomic mass of the calcium Ca 40.1 and barium Ba 137.3, we get 88.7. So the atomic mass of the middle element Sr is roughly equal to the average of atomic mass of the other two elements. Third triad, chlorine, bromine and iodine. The chlorine has an atomic mass 35.5, bromine has an atomic mass 79.9, and iodine I has an atomic mass 126.9. So Dobrynin classified these three elements in a one group such that in the form of the increasing order of their atomic mass, and here the atomic mass of the middle one, bromine, is approximately equal to the average of the atomic mass of the chlorine and iodine. The average of the atomic mass of the chlorine and iodine is 81.2, and the atomic mass of the bromine middle one is 79.9, that is approximately equal, right? So here the Dobrynin's triad, Dobrynin classified the elements in the increasing order of their atomic mass in the group of three elements. The group of three elements is called the triad, and in the one triad the atomic mass of the middle element is roughly equal to the approximately equal to the average of the atomic mass of the other two elements, right? So understand what is the Dobrynin's triad and the classification made by the Dobrynin, German chemist John Wolfgang Dobrynin, right? Try to arrange the element with the similar property into the group of the three elements in the increasing order of their atomic mass, right? In the triad, the atomic mass of the middle element was approximately equal to the average atomic mass of the other two elements. So dear student, you have to remember this at Dobrynin's triad for the atomic mass, right? Now, what are the limitations of the Dobrynin's triad? The defect in this classification was that all the then known elements could not be correctly arranged into the triad. The elements which were discovered later could not be correctly arranged into the triad. So that is the main limitation of the Dobrynin's classification. So what is the limitation of the Dobrynin's classification? The elements which are known to the later could not be correctly arranged into the triad, right? There are no space for the elements which were discovered later. So in the time of the Dobrynin, only the few elements, about a 30 to 35 elements was discovered, right? And the Dobrynin classified this element in the form of this triad, right? But the elements which were discovered later on could not be correctly arranged into the triad. So this one is the main limitation of the Dobryna's triad. After that, Newland was tried to classify the elements. So let us start the Newland's law of the octave. In the 1866, John Newland, an English scientist, arranged the known elements in the order of the increasing atomic mass. Right? So after the Dobryna's classification, the John Newland, the English scientist, had tried to arrange the known elements in the order of the increasing atomic mass. Dobryna also tried to arrange the elements in the increasing order of their atomic mass, and this John Newland, an English scientist, arranged the known elements in the order of the increasing atomic mass. He started with the element having the lowest atomic mass. The element which has the lowest atomic mass is a hydrogen, and ended at the thorium, which was the 56th element. So at the time of the John Newland, there there were a 56 element are known to us, right? And the John Newland had arranged this element in the order of the increasing atomic mass. So the John Newland started with the lowest elements having the lowest atomic mass, that is the hydrogen, and ended with the elements with the highest atomic mass, thorium, which was the 56th element, right? Now, as the John Newland are arranging these elements in the form of the increasing order of the atomic mass, he found that every eighth element had a property similar to that of the first element, right? So John Newland was found that the every eighth element had a property which is similar to that of the first element, right? Therefore, he called it the law of the octave. Octave, that means the eighth, right? So law of octave, that means the every eighth element has the similar property to that of the first element. It is known as the Newland's law of the octave, right? So in the Newland's octave, the property of the first element and the property of the eighth element is a similar. So in the Newland's octave, the property of the lithium and the sodium were found to be a same. Sodium is the eighth element after the lithium. So the Newland found that every eighth element had a similar property that of the first element. So in the Newland's octave law, the property of the lithium and sodium were found to be the same. Sodium is the eighth element after the lithium, and he arranged the elements in the form of the group of the eight elements, right? Like sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, right? After that, sa. So here the Newland octave laws are given a law of classification, that is the every each element after the had a similar property to that of one. So he arranged the elements from the lowest atomic mass, from the hydrogen to the to the end of the atomic mass, thorium, 56th element. So like a musical sound like a sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. After ni, there will be a sa, right? So the repeating this. So do this way. First element is a hydrogen, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and after this oxygen, fluorine. So hydrogen and fluorine had a similar property. Fluorine, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, potassium, calcium, chromium, right? Like this way. So this element had a similar property. This element had a similar property. Similarly, these elements had a similar properties like this. So according to the Newland's octave law, the Newland's John Newland English scientist arranged the elements in the order of the increasing of their atomic mass. So as we go on the left, from the left hand side to the right hand side in a group, the atomic mass of the element is increased. So in this group, as we move from hydrogen to the lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen and oxygen, the atomic mass of the element is increases. Similarly, dear student, in the second group, fluorine, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, the atomic mass of the element is increasing order, right? So every eighth element, as the Newland arranged the elements, he found that every eighth element which had a similar property that of the first element. So here the hydrogen and fluorine had a similar property, lithium and sodium had a similar property, beryllium, magnesium had a similar property, boron, aluminum had a similar property. So these are the groups, right? So understand, dear student, in the one group the properties of the element are similar. So understand, dear student, what are the Newland's law of the octave? So what is the Newland's law of octave? Newland's arrange the elements in the order of the increasing atomic mass. Every eighth element had the similar property that of the first element. This statement is called the law of octave, or we can say that the Newland's law of the octave. And Newland's arrange the elements from the lowest mass, which is hydrogen, to the thorium, which is the 56th element, right? So now what are the limitation of this Newland's octave law? Limitation of Newland's octave law. The law was applicable to the elements up to the calcium only. So according to the Newland's octave law, the every eighth element had a similar property to the first element. So this law was applicable only up to the elements up to the calcium. After that, this law was not satisfied, right? So the Newland's octave law was applicable up to the elements up to the calcium only. It contained only 56 elements. Further, it was assumed by the Newlands that only 56 elements existed in the nature and no more elements would be discovered in the future. So Newland contained only a 56 element, and he was assumed that the only 56 elements are existed in the nature and no more elements would be discovered in the future. And third limitation is that in order to fit the elements into the table, Newland adjusted two elements in the same slot and also put the some unlike elements under the same knot. So here, in order to fit the elements into the table of a octave, right, Newland adjusted two elements in the same slot. He put the two elements in the same slot and also put the some unlike elements under the same knot. For example, cobalt and nickel are in the same slot and these are placed in the same column as the fluorine. So see here in the table, cobalt and nickel has in the same slot in the chlorine, right? So chlorine and bromine, which have very different property than this element, right? So cobalt and nickel are in the same slot and these are placed in the same column as the fluorine, chlorine and bromine, which have a very different property than this element. So here cobalt and nickel are placed in the column like a hydrogen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, right? But cobalt and nickel have a different property than the chlorine and bromine. So this one is the limitation of the Newland's octave law, right? Iron, which is resembled cobalt and nickel in the properties has been placed differently away from this element. So here the iron which has the same property than the cobalt and nickel, right? But the iron is placed at a different place. So see here, the cobalt and nickel has the different property than chlorine and bromine, is placed in the group of the chlorine and bromine, right? But the iron which has a similar property of the cobalt and nickel, which is placed in the other place at the different place. So this one is the limitation of the Newland's law of a octave. So dear student, I hope that you understand the Dobrenov's trial law and the Newland's law of octave. What are the success of the Dobrenov's trial law? What are the success of the Newland's law of octave? And what are the limitation of the Dobrenov's law and the Newland's law of octave? After that, the Mendeleevs were try to arrange the 63 elements which are known at that time, right? That we will discuss Mendeleev's periodic table in the next video. So dear students, keep watching my video.